To the eternally curious, unapologetically superstitious Midnight Society rejects, Stormy Willow welcomes you. We are the eccentric coots, storytellers, explorers, dabblers, practitioners, and paranormal pupils who examine the what's ifs, the what's that's, and WTFs of this dimension and beyond. Welcome to the Stormy Willow podcast. I'm your host, Adele, along with my sister, Sarah. And in case you're new to the show, we are a paranormal podcast, mainly, but of course, we'll talk about anything strange, unusual, not mainstream, whatever floats our boat.
That's right. Hey, Dale. Hey, listeners.
So, how do we need to come up with a name for our listeners? If anybody has any ideas, let us know. I kind of wanted to call you guys creeps, but thought that might be too harsh. Like I don't know. It's not like we want to call you Stormies or
our little lightning bugs.
Lightning bugs.
I don't know. Maybe we could take you guys can send us some ideas.
Yeah, and put it to a vote. Or I'm just going to close my eyes and pick something from the dictionary. Whatever it lands on is what it is.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Well, speaking of fun, I have a great story for you guys today.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do. And before we get into it, I know I've got some other fun stuff to tell you too.
Oh, yeah. And before we get into that, in case you can feel it in the air, I think there are some astrological things afoot. I don't know if anybody else is feeling it.
Oh, I am. I am not sleeping this week.
You'll have to talk about that. I didn't know it affected sleep, but this Saturday, I guess by the time this airs, it will have been yesterday, will have been the partial solar eclipse this month. So that's pretty
Total
cool.
eclipse of the heart.
Oh, God, I should have known. I should have known.
Can you put that in an episode?
I'm going to edit that right out.
Oh!
But yeah, I have some fun facts about this.
Let's hear it.
This solar eclipse.
Because this is the first one of the year, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think the last one was like November 2021, something like that. But this moon is supposed to block out about 64% of the sun around sunset, but we don't get to see it. You can only actually see it in southern South America and parts of Antarctica. But if you do go to www.timeanddate.com, you can see live streaming of it at least.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, you can check that out here in North America where we don't actually get to see it. And another fun little factoid about this particular eclipse, this one will coincide with the new moon this month. And so that's kind of cool because the new moon, as you know, is blank. It's otherwise invisible. But if you can see this eclipse, you can actually see the new moon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And yet more special, this is going to be a black moon.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So that's kind of funny. According to the Farmer's Almanac, it means the second new moon within the same month. So we had one earlier this month. So this is the second one within the same month, which I thought sounded special. But apparently there's other types of black moons, which I guess it's not really that special.
It's got kind of a cool, creepy feel to it. Like it should be something special.
I'm gonna say
just kidding.
Special. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say special to you.
Black moons are also when there's just no new moon that month. You just might not have one in that lunar cycle. Or it will be the third new moon if there are 4 new moons in a season. Which I like. That's a little bit too complicated. Maybe
that's very complicated.
So there you go. A little bit of fun for that.
I love it.
But shall we see what the astrologers have to say about what's going to be happening?
Well, let me tell you what I feel is happening for me personally. Well, I haven't been sleeping. I've been going to bed super early because I've been tired. As most of you know, I'm an athlete, so I get up quite early, and I
am a mathlete, so I don't really move out of my chair.
But you do love a good. It's like let's do some physics or something.
Yeah, maybe not to that extent, but I'm like,
kidding.
oh, cool, let's make some pivot tables for our budget.
Well, anyway, so I've not been able to sleep. So yesterday I went to bed like between 9 and 9:30, which is, fairly early. And I know
For you
Birdie,
though, isn't that?
That's like the new time I kind of go to bed now. Okay. And so to get up at 4. And so I did not fall asleep till 3, like after 3 in the morning.
You still got up at 4?
Sleep. I did, and I told my friends I would not meet them to work out, and went right back to bed. But yeah, but I saw on TikTok, of all places, they were saying that if you are an empath, which I am, just like our friend Zach Bagans, fun fact, that you during this cycle of the eclipse, you usually don't sleep. It's just something with empaths.
Actually, I'm gonna look this up. Is Zach Bagans an Aries? Doesn't he strike you as an Aries
or a Leo?
Oh, I think he's such an Aries. I think.
All right, let's see.
Perfect man.
He's right. I'm saying Leo.
I'm gonna say Aries. What zodiac sign is Zach?
We care so much.
I'm sorry to interrupt the show for this. I just have to know. He is an Aries. I knew it. Yes.
When is his birthday?
He's an Aries. It is April 5th.
Oh, so he just had a birthday.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, ZB.
Happy birthday, Zach. He to me, yes. If you were to look up Aries man in a dictionary, it would be his picture.
But Steven is Aries, and like he's nothing like Zach.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not exactly to the T, like on all of us, but wow, Zach.
Yeah. Okay, I lost that.
The carnation of Aries man.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and tell us what the experts. Speaking of experts, go ahead and tell us what experts say about what we can expect in our astrological forecast.
I'm going to abbreviate this because it's kind of long, but you can check it out at cafeastrology.com for yourself.
Yeah, that's a cool website.
That's usually, that's usually my go-to. So
I like it.
It's usually not the first one that comes up on Google. It's usually magazines, but I'm gonna go straight to them.
Listen, so I love a cafe and I love a good astrological forecast. So
yeah, so like I said, I'm just gonna abbreviate it because they really get into this. It gets hard, doesn't it? At this angle.
Speaking of all things mathematical, astrology is hard.
Yeah.
It's intense.
It's the people who can read this stuff, like Jasmine and Nancy, are
kudos, ladies.
Kudos,
you're amazing.
But let's just abbreviate this. Like I said, I'm not going to read everything. So, occurring in Taurus, this eclipse is about strengthening our sense of security. It is a time for reevaluating our relationship with money and possessions and discovering what it is that truly makes us happy and fulfilled. It's also a period for considering new ways of increasing our income or earning power. I mean, earning power, not like earning power.
I was like, okay, I need to
like you're earning power, not anyway. New and potent energy is with us for taking charge of our personal possessions and finances. We should be concentrating on what it is we can do to increase our own feelings of self-worth. We are asked to get in touch with what it is that we truly value and want in our lives, and to part with those things or situations that are not or no longer contributing to our feelings of worthiness. This includes identifying those things that give us a false sense of security.
I love that. Something else just to kind of tie into that, when I was listening or doing my TikTok today, they were also talking about if you are one that does manifestations, not to manifest this weekend. That is a huge no-no for the eclipse, because it's time for the universe to manifest it all for you. And so they're like, this is the one time you should not manifest anything for yourself. It's during the eclipse, just to let go.
Literally better call or text mom right after this episode, because she literally called me like an hour ago. I was like, this whole manifestation you guys are talking about, how do I do that?
We're not going to do it this weekend.
Well, don't
this
do
weekend
it.
Is for no, I don't. That's what the professionals at TikTok say. not Sarah. Okay. But it's just saying and I think manifestations are wonderful. I'm a true believer in it, but they said for the eclipse, maybe just take the time to relax and let the universe play out those cards for you. And it kind of gives you that sense that universe really is in control, not you. And so that you need to kind of honor that time by relaxing, whether it's reading a book or chilling out or not trying to, maybe manifest anything right now. Wait till after the eclipse.
Or like my my kind of Freudian slip.
Whoa.
Whenever I said something about power, it's because I'm reading the 28 Laws of Power.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, the 48 Laws. God,
that's a lot of laws.
We should not record on a weekday. Like, I'm so mentally dead. Sorry, the 48 Laws of Power.
Well, let me tell you, we shouldn't record on a weekday because I did something today I've never done in my life. Oh, and we're going to get real personal.
Yeah, you just go ahead.
Okay. And it's also leads into my story.
Oh God, how?
Weird way.
We'll find out.
In a weird way. Did you have anything else to share? I'm sorry about the eclipse or life or.
No, I think that'll do it. So yeah, it sounds like we're all going to be self-reflecting over our self-worth and let the universe do what it needs to do.
Thank you for giving us this week's forecast. I love that so much. Like maybe we can start.
Hey, maybe that's what we can call it since it's Stormy Willow.
I love it. Let's open the show from here on out with the astrological forecast.
Yeah,
and I really like that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
See, guys, the universe manifested that.
Yeah, we're literally just figuring this show out as we're recording.
We really are. Well, speaking about figuring things out as you go. So I'm getting ready to go on vacation, and I thought I would treat myself to a nice professional bikini wax, which I have never had done. I've always done like the at-home bikini waxing.
Define an unprofessional bikini wax.
So like not been done like by somebody. Like you've done your own ladyscaping or manscaping or like, your own scaping down south. You know what I mean? Okay. And so I've always just kind of handled that myself, but I always end up missing like huge chunks of hair, like on my leg, my armpit, and other areas. And it's just real embarrassing sometimes. And so I thought, you know what, Sarah, you're almost 40 years old. Like, let's do this. Like, let's go get a bikini wax and let's make it happen.
I've never heard anyone get one and say, yeah, that was a great idea. I'm really glad I did that.
I'm not glad I did it. I'm humiliated. Why? So first of all, I booked this place. They were really great, by the way. I'm not gonna say their name on air, but they were really awesome. But it's like, they do massages, skincare, they do like all of the things, And so I go in like to the massage room and like there's like paper on top, which I assumed was just because wax is messy. So the lady tells me, and I had read that a lot of places give you like paper underwear to wear. Well, this lady gave me nothing, and she's like, just take off your clothes from the waist down. I was like, okay. And she's like, and here's a little washcloth for you to cover your lady bits. I'm Porky Pigging it, okay. And I get under the blanket. I get under the blanket. It was just like a heated bed, like a massage bed. So I'm under there like bare ass. It feels amazing. And she comes in and she's like, yeah, like, so you're supposed to be on top of the paper, not under
the bed. You covered up like it was a sleeping bag.
I went into covers and like where they do massages, like my bare ass is like where they do massages. I just got in there, got all comfortable and warm.
Lady, I hope you tipped her well.
I did. I went above the suggested amount. I was just gonna have to strip that whole bedding. But I was so embarrassed because I was nervous. I didn't know. And, of course, like she comes back and she's like, it's okay, honey. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm like,
first time.
I was like, I'm like such a fucking asshole. And then I'm looking around, there's like all this Christian stuff on the wall. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I feel like such a fucking loser right now. I'm like not wearing any pants. And I'm just a complete nightmare. And it just hurts. It hurts so bad. And I didn't even get the full thing waxed, just like the bikini, like the areas that you stick out of your undies or your bathing suit. And I can't even imagine getting that whole sucker like turtle waxed because that would hurt like nobody's business. But I literally at that point, I was like, does this window open? Like, can I put my underwear on and like run out of here and just like never come back? Or do I have to see it through?
What did you see her at like the grocery store?
And then I got so nervous, like I couldn't add the tip right. And so I was like, wait a second, I don't think I added that right. I had to do it on my calculator and redo it. So she's like, this girl is the stupidest asshole like on the planet. But anyway, and I just also want to say that it really pisses me off. Like, why do women have to do shit like this? Like, why can't I be proud of my hairy self and have stuff hanging out of my bathing suit? Like, men don't have to get lady skates.
Now, in my personal opinion, everybody should. Like, I hate body hair. No offense. I know some people are into it. Like, good for you if you're a bear into bears. That's awesome. I'm just not.
I would like someone that's into bears to be into me because I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah, like I agree that, you know, I say level the playing field and everybody just be hairless little dolphins.
It really hurts. It's very painful, but I'm very humiliated that I got naked. And
waxing just sounds horrible though.
Yeah, but shaving's hard. Like I get bumps and stuff with that, and I've tried to do like the waxing at home, and it just always ends up like I made myself bleed. It's horrible. So. Yeah. And then it's like it's so awkward. Like they give you a mirror at the end. Like, how does that look? It's like I don't want to look. Like I don't know.
Like I'm not trying on shoes.
Like I was like, I don't know.
I can kind of just see. Like
I was like, is anything hanging out? Well, you don't know because I'm not wearing underwear, but
right. It's like I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that was my my waxing experience. So if you guys see me squirming a lot, yeah, that's why, because I'm hurting. But so speaking of things down there,
how is this gonna tie into your story?
So I'm gonna tie it in, but first I'm gonna introduce. So today's story is about the one, the only Miss Loretta Lynn.
Yeah, and what the hell does this have to do?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you. So speaking of birthdays and Aries and whatnot, Loretta just turned 90 on April the 14th. So, whoa, that's pretty amazing. And wow. She was also born just dirt poor, like born in a holler, as they call it. And so when a fun fact about her, I'm going to tell you a lot of more fun facts about her and we're going to get spooky. But one fun fact about her is that she was really good friends with Patsy Cline. And Patsy Cline, like, so when she saw Loretta singing on the Grand Ole Opry, she felt so bad for her because, I mean, she didn't have any clothes really that were that nice and she didn't have any money.
And she was at the Grand Ole Opry?
Yeah. Not
dressed very well?
Right. And so Patsy like gave her a bunch of her clothes, including a pair of panties.
Oh, okay. There we go.
She said, my favorite, I've been listening to interviews with Loretta, and she has like the greatest accent. Like if you guys have a hard time, if you guys struggle with me, Loretta is the best. I love her accent.
Speaking of which, that's another reason why I added closed captioning now on YouTube. That's amazing.
So you can know what I'm really saying. Hopefully closed captioning can pick it up.
Yeah, I had to correct some of it, so sorry if it's still wrong. It kept saying like, I don't know, it would just make up words for some of this.
That's so funny. Well, so Patsy gave Loretta a pair of underwear and Loretta's like, I wore those panties for 4 months. And apparently Loretta keeps everything because she's used to having absolutely nothing. So she still to this day has that pair of panties from Patsy Cline. So I'm tying that all into my experience, Loretta's. But anyway.
That took a lot of triangulation, but okay.
But it worked, right? We connected it. We connected the dots.
And we kind of connected it back to Zach Bagans being an Aries.
We did connect the triangle. I guess
I bet he waxes.
So anyway, let's talk about the amazing Loretta Lynn. So do you just know of Loretta Lynn as just like a country singer?
I think, yeah. Does she have a haunted house?
She does, and we're going to talk about that.
Because I think it's her. I think mom actually told me about how she has a haunted like property.
Yes, and we're going to talk all about the property. So Loretta, she is an amazing feminist, actually. And on one of the many interviews I watched,
I'm surprised she didn't burn those panties then.
Right. Well, this is what she says about that. She said, she's like, I'm all about women's rights, but I don't need to go burn my bra because I need that.
True.
But so I watched an interview where people were just kind of talking about Loretta and like how amazing she is. And like she wrote songs in the 60s. Like one was called The Pill, about birth control pills, which the 60s, hello, country music, hello, a woman, what? And it was actually banned from the radio.
So maybe that's why I've never heard of this song.
Well, it's so cool because she talks about how women are just used as baby makers. And now that she's got the pill, it's so funny. She's like, the part of it says, Daddy, don't you worry because mama's got the pill. And she's talking about how she's going to go out in her mini skirt and have a good life. And she's sick of just like popping out babies. And that's all she's good for. And so, yeah, of course, people needed to try to shut that down because they didn't want Loretta to give other, women ideas that they're more the baby makers during that time. Mm-hmm. She also wrote songs such as The Coal Miner's Daughter, who she loved her dad very much and was a coal miner's daughter. And she also wrote songs just like Don't Come Home a Drinking with Lovin' on Your Mind. Just like, songs that really were like, don't be drunk and expecting to get something out of me. And so she just was and is an amazing songwriter and singer and guitar player. And she actually just collaborated a few years ago with Jack White, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, that's really awesome.
And so she's amazing. She is a kick-ass woman. And she was, she was doing those things when those things were really, people were trying to shut you up, and especially to be on the country music label, especially during that time. She was making waves right there with Dolly.
Where was she from? Tennessee?
West Virginia? She's actually from Butcher Holler, Kentucky.
I knew.
But we're going to talk about her property that is in Tennessee. But she was just amazing. So she got married when she was 13 freaking years old to Do. And by the time she was 18, she had already had 4 children. And God. Yeah. And so Do had bought her a guitar, and she would just make up these nursery rhymes and songs, and she was really good at it. Do, like a dewdrop, like Mountain Dew.
Is that short for something?
Yes.
Or a nickname?
Full name. It's a nickname. They also called him Mooney because he was a moonshiner.
In case like any of your listeners are not from the South or know much about the South, nobody actually goes by their name.
No, I'm Cece.
I have two
Adele
names.
Is Lily.
Yeah.
You have your birth name and then you have your Southern name. You don't ever go by your real name in the South.
Never.
Unless you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If somebody says your real name, then you're in trouble. Like that's a Southern thing for sure. So it's so funny because she said when she saw him, and like if you see a picture of him, it's really funny. She's like, I just fell in love with him because he looked like a little toy soldier. He really did. And they were married for
little green plastic ones.
Yeah, a little tiny toy soldier. But he he would hit her and stuff, and she always said when it came to abuse, he's like, he would hit me once, but I would go down hitting him twice. And so she stood her ground, and she taught herself how to sing and do all this stuff, and she was able to get recognized and basically became the star that she is today. So she's just for her music and her women's rights alone is amazing. But Loretta also ends up buying this old plantation called Hurricane Mills Ranch, which is in Tennessee, and it's hella haunted. It has Loretta and Hurricane Mills Ranch have been on Ghost Adventures, Celebrity Ghost Stories, if you name it.
I didn't realize
it all comes back to Zach. Yeah. Oh. And so she's been, you can just YouTube and just watch all the stuff about this property because there have been a lot of investigations about it. So whenever she bought the house, she fell in love, and she just felt like it was a place she knew that she wanted to live. So the plantation was built in the early 1800s. So we're talking like we're going back like Civil War time here.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that she has seen, and other people have seen, a lot of Confederate soldiers there on that property. And I'm going to tell you more about it, but this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Confederate soldiers. We're dealing with a woman in mourning that can be seen. And we're also dealing with the ghost of the former owner of the estate. These are three of the most active apparitions at this home. So we're going to talk about, so there was a documentary that Travel Channel produced, and they kind of talked to Loretta and her children, because her children have also had experiences in this home. Tour guides have had experiences in this home. Like her mom has had experiences in this home. Everybody.
Does she currently live in this home, or is it now?
I don't think so. I don't think she currently is there now, because I think her health is not really great. And it's like a humongous estate. So I know like her family, like one of her sons, Ernest, like lived on the property. So I think there are also other houses like on the estate, because it's like gigantic. Yeah. And you can you can go, I don't know, I guess now that COVID's kind of lifted, you can go and tour this estate. And so anyway, there's this one place and so she was talking to there's this one room in particular that is supposedly the most haunted room in the house, and she calls it the brown room. And so she said this room is always a lot colder than any other room in the house, and there's always a lot of dead flies. Like,
ooh, that's not good.
Not a good. Is not a really good thing. So she said that with the brown room, so both of her boys have lived in the or have stayed in that brown room. And so Ernest Lynn said that he just never liked it. He just always kind of got a creepy vibe. And he said that even like when it was hot in the South, a Tennessee summer, it would always be like freezing in there, and would just like leave you a chill that would just, it was just not cool.
Be my room of choice to escape those southern
brown room.
I'm gonna go to the freezing cold haunted room just to escape this heat.
Oh my gosh. So Loretta and her family believe it's something really tragic, obviously, probably happened in that room. And and so her kids, one of her sons one time he was like passed out asleep. He said he had been drinking, and he like passed out asleep, and he woke up, and this Confederate soldier was over him trying to literally pull the boots off of his feet.
I don't know if that's nice or creepy.
I know, right? But I mean, regardless, it's like, also these ghosts like to play pranks on people. And Loretta says she finds it kind of funny, because like no one's like, some of their pranks, no one's gotten hurt. So they have like this big, like you can go out on like this veranda type thing. And she said one of the ghosts locks them out. When they were outside for a couple of hours. And she's like, that was fine. But she said that once you like go up the staircases, there are these pictures of all of Loretta's album covers, and like gold albums and stuff, and they're really funny. Like, just don't touch the albums. Well, one of the tour guides touched the albums during a tour, and one of the ghosts shoved her down the stairs.
Oh.
Yeah, luckily she was okay. But she said that I guess she kind of feels like the ghosts are kind of looking out for her as well, in a way. And it was it's just kind of one of those things. And so she also, I thought this was kind of funny. So Loretta wrote the song called This Haunted House, and it's about the passing of Patsy Cline. But she was saying that it's so funny that she would have never thought when she wrote that song, it would have ended up being like her life at Hurricane Mills Plantation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's kind of funny. But she said that, so she started, let's see here. So I told you about the boots, and let's see here. So there are also, so the land, because again, this plantation is humongous. So the land of the plantation was actually home to an actual battle that took place during the Civil War. Loretta did history. And so a small battle actually happened on her property. So there was a lot of bloodshed that happened there. And so she said that you can still see, like, people still see like Confederate soldiers walking around, like when they go fishing. There have been several just, you can be just like, some of the guides said they'll just go walk sometimes just to take a break, on the property, and they will see Confederate soldiers like vividly. And so these are like not just one person or two people. It's almost seems like everybody that interacts with this home can see these apparitions. Let's see. And then I told you guys about that. All right. Now this part I hate, and I don't really know how to say it because it's just so offensive and terrible. But there was also a slave pit on the property because during that time, unfortunately. And so underneath the home, there's like she said, if you go, there's like a small trap door, and the door leads to a basement. And she said they still have like the chains hanging from the walls and stuff. And so she said that it's just horrible. So one night she was watching TV at her house with a friend, and she saw someone walk across the porch. And after that, she was like, "Well, what was that?" And she could hear chains starting to move and rattle in the slave pit.
That too. It's like, do you leave them out of like, preserving the memory of the horrible stuff that happened and remembering these people, or do you get rid of it? Like, you know what I mean?
That's a tough one, because I think in one way, like, we should show how nasty and horrible it was. Like, we should be like, this is what we fucking did to people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I mean, I guess her plantation is pretty much now a museum of sorts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it's nice not to wash over that, to be like, oh, we were picking cotton and playing and singing songs, because that is not the story of a slave by any means. And so I feel like these things really bring that dark history to life. I don't know if I would really want to live necessarily at a place that had that, like as my home. Right. You know what I mean?
I mean, I almost feel disrespectful not leaving it.
It's a hard one. It's a tough one. Like, you don't want to erase history, however horrible it was, but I guess your place of residence, like, would you really want that? I don't know. But I guess with her being a star, she's on the road a lot.
Yeah, and it's like
her home may not necessarily be like, our home is, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But that part, to be honest with you, I almost left that part out. And I was like, no, don't. It's important. It's icky. It's just the icky part of history that I hate. But you know what? That's pretty much all of our history, and it doesn't matter whether it's the South and slaves, what we did to Native American people, what we do to people today.
I think it's interesting that it sounds like it's most haunted by Confederate soldiers.
I know, because of that battle.
I don't know. I'm glad that the slave spirits are not trapped there then.
Right. So. Me too. Yeah, like that would be another. I would want them to cross on, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So James T. Anderson was the former owner of this place, and he is quite active here at this property. He's the one that we believe pushed that guide for her touching Loretta's gold albums. But he really played a part in not only making that property, but like the town Hurricane Mills, like he was a big founder of getting that town up and running. And so, let's see here. So I think this is so cool. This part reminds me of when I did the story with, Dan Aykroyd about how they would do the seances. So Loretta did a seance as well with some friends at her home, and they made
house. That's pretty bold.
Yeah. And they actually made contact with Mr. Anderson, and they said that he was so angry, he pounded on the table until it broke and then slammed it on the floor.
Why is he so pissed?
So he's so angry, and we'll talk a little more about him.
Okay. What is he so mad about?
Can you imagine having a seance and have like that much activity, and like you already have had all this crazy, like obviously her house is hella haunted anyway. It's just like, whoa.
I don't know. I just like, dude, you're dead. What do you possibly have to worry about?
But,
Why are you so mad?
And I feel like this just shows like what a badass Loretta is. She's like, yeah, let's do a seance. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it. You know, like I love her so much. So another active lady here, they call her the Lady in White. And so several
Always the Lady
visitors,
in White.
always. I feel like if it's Southern Confederate, you got to have the Lady in White, right?
Yeah,
Like it's like every beach story, every Southern story, there's a Lady in White. And so several people have seen this Lady in White. And so she's wearing a long white gown and she haunts the grounds of the plantation. And so Loretta has 2 daughters, or more than 2 daughters. She has twin daughters and as well. And she said the kids would always talk about the Lady in White, like being in their room, and then she would just vanish. And so she said both of her children always talked about that. And Loretta said one time she was walking up to her property and the Lady in White was at the balcony, just kind of like wringing her hands and looking so sad. And so she believes that the Lady in White is the wife of Mr. Anderson's son. And then she was able to do some history on the house and found out that her baby died during childbirth. And then she died 2 weeks afterwards from grieving herself to death.
Jeez.
So she believes she's still looking like for her baby. And that's why she's there. So, I mean, she's definitely, there was, I watched Celebrity Ghost Story. They could see the Lady in White. They could see all these people. And they were able to talk Loretta into helping these people maybe cross over if they wanted to. Like they could still come and visit. They could still, she's very open to this. And I'm going to tell you about her because she is, she's quite spiritual herself. And this story gives me goosebumps. So this is her house.
An empath, also like Zach, an Aries.
Yes, empath. I think she's probably way more of like, I think she's more like a medium, if you will, or something. Like she's crazy, amazing. So Loretta's mother, and she calls her mommy, which I think is so cute. So she says like mommy was Cherokee. So she believes her mom always had like a gift of seeing the future. And she's like, whatever her mom said, it would come to fruition. Same like when she got married at 13. She's like, you're going to get married at 13. And she's like, no, I'm not. Like, I would never do that. And she did. So just like little things like that.
So what year was it that she got married at 13?
Oh, we'll have to look and see. I mean,
I don't expect you to know that, but like,
well, she's 90 right now.
Like,
so that was like during the Depression.
I don't know. Like that just still seems so recent to be able to get married that young.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and so, so Loretta's mom, Clara, was said to be very gifted with psychic abilities. And I believe that Loretta is too. And so, so Loretta's mom came to visit soon after they bought the plantation. And she was walking around the home and all of a sudden they get to the creek and her mom just starts freaking out and crying. And she says, Loretta, you got to sell this house. She's like, your son's going to die. He's going to drown in this creek. And Loretta's like, Mom, not this time. Like my kids, all of my kids know how to swim. They ride horses, they swim. They would never, drowning just wouldn't be something that would be likely for them. So the years pass and she's like, I'm sorry, you're wrong on this one, Mom. Not selling it. It's fine. So she's on tour and she's singing and she has to be rushed into the ER because she has seizures so bad that she goes into a coma and she envisions her son falling off of a horse and drowning. Well, when she wakes up from the coma, Dew comes in and she's like, oh, you came to see me. How sweet. He's like, hon, our son just fell off of a horse and drowned and died in the creek.
That's pretty crazy.
Isn't that insane? She already knew it. And then also, so Loretta said that she has, she's always seen spirits since she was about the age of 10. And she just assumed that other people could see them too. She didn't realize that other people didn't see the dead like she did. And so she said one night, they had moved to Washington and she was sound asleep, and this was before, her major fame and living at the plantation. And she said she had this nightmare of her dad in a coffin, and she could see exactly what he was wearing. And she woke up like at 3 or 4 in the morning, and she's like, dude, dad is dead. And he's like, Loretta, you just had a bad dream, go back to sleep. And like, she's just hysterical for hours. And then there's a knock on her door, and her neighbor comes over, and they didn't have a phone at their home at the time. And she's like, I need you to come home or come next door. There's a call for you. And it was her sister-in-law. And she said, your dad has died.
That's crazy.
And, and I've had that.
Same
thing. So I can really connect with her. So I just think that, when I was watching Celebrity Ghost Story with her, one of the medium, or the psychic medium that was there, she said the reason these ghosts stay is because they're so connected to Loretta, especially the lady in white, because she lost a son, Loretta has lost a son, and so that's something that she just feels connected to her. And then through the years, even Mr. Anderson feels connected to her because of how well she's taking care of the property and how she is. So like these spirits are connected to her. And so she said she could help. She's like, the medium was like, you can help them cross on to find their child, but they can also leave that portal open so they can still stay with you too. Because, she was like, this is their home too, And so she was very open to that. So it's a short, sweet story, but that is the story of Loretta Lynn. And I did not know all of this about her. And I just think, I think she is just something special. Like what a treasure. And, especially when I started doing this story just to see, she's just celebrated her 90th birthday on April 14th. She still looks amazing. Dew has passed. She's lost a child. She
stayed with Dew.
She stayed with Dew
since she was 13.
Since she was 13.
It's crazy.
And it's so funny because her kids are like, they're like, that's so funny. They're like, the songs that she wrote were about daddy. and even though he was horrible back in the day, they're like, they just still loved each other. She's like, I still loved him, but I won't put up with this stuff. Like he was like a womanizer, kind of like our story with our grandparents,
Yeah.
And like she wouldn't take it. But they're like, yeah, like she would sing about him. He knew the songs were all about him too. But I just think she is just a straight talker. I think she is. I love what she was doing for women all those years ago. Like she really paved the way for us. And I just think that, plus being a gifted psychic like she is on top of it, and really being in tune with that, I just think makes her a pretty freaking amazing person. And I was really glad to, watch interviews about her and listen to her music. It's really crazy, like what she was doing back then. And I think she's a really cool person, and I would really love to go to her in Caden Mills Ranch. I think that should be on our list of places to go.
Yeah. I was about to say, I'd really like to visit that property.
Yes. So that is the story of Miss Loretta Lynn.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. And I love that it all fell around like her birthday. I had no idea. So that was kind of cool that we could. So happy birthday, Miss Loretta Lynn.
Yeah, for real.
Awesome. A place, like if you're looking for something, another spooky destination for your summer travels, Hurricane Mills Ranch might be the place for you.
I wonder how close that is to Dollywood.
I don't know. That would be cool. We could do a Dolly and oh my God, Dolly and Loretta. Look out.
Yeah.
I am not worthy.
Because I think Mom was really serious about maybe doing that for Christmas this year.
That would be so cool.
That'd be cool if we could do both.
I saw all these people I forgot what it was. Somebody had a billboard or a picture of a billboard that said, don't support Disney, support Dolly. Like Dollywood. It's like a place for all people.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty awesome. Like, leave it to Dolly, like way to, market on that kindness.
I can't believe how quickly all of her Dixie was removed from the Dixie Stampede.
Oh yeah, she's like,
it's just like, oh crap, I didn't realize how offensive that is. It's gone.
Well, it's and the chicks, I really admire them too, because their career was like ruined overnight by making a statement that wasn't even, it was true and not even bad. And they too like, oh, we probably shouldn't be called the Dixie Chicks, you know? So, and fun fact, Mistletoe, our dog, who was Birdie, so she was Birdie Mistletoe, and then somebody named her Dixie at one point. So we removed that name too. So Birdie suits her.
Mean ass Birdie.
Mean ass Birdie. We love her though. She's so funny. She's like an old irritable Southern woman. She's like Weezer. I should have named her that. Oh, so yeah, anything that you really thought was cool about Loretta Lynn that you didn't know?
I mean, I didn't realize that she was a medium. I mean, or I guess
she has psychic abilities.
Yeah, I guess more of a psychic. She's not channeling. She's more like
she can see spirits and stuff. Yeah, connect with them. I think that's so cool. I had no idea. I mean, I've always seen her on like the Discovery Channel and different things because of her home, but I didn't realize that she herself was such a had the gift, as you would say.
I think she's on an episode of Roseanne very briefly as well, way back when Darlene's like trying to serve this, like, I don't know, Roseanne's like, you're gonna work at a loose meat booth for like the county fair, and she's like, give Loretta Lynn a like pork sandwich, and Darlene's being all like, no, I'm a vegetarian, this used to be a beautiful animal.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, random TV land memory.
Yeah. I mean, Loretta Lynn's been on all kinds of stuff. She's great. She's really cool.
She's very charming.
She is. And like her interviews, like I could listen to her all day. Like she's just she is, I think, a lot like Dolly, in that, you know, us Southern ladies are changing. Like, just because we talk sweet doesn't mean that we're stupid and we don't believe in feminism and things. And I think Loretta and Dolly both were proving that way before we were trying to prove it. So I really love how they have they've just changed how maybe the stereotype, I guess I would say, that how people see Southern women. And I think that's really cool.
I think also being in Hollywood and dealing with, you know, the double standards, they, you know, kind of got the brunt of that a lot more than a lot of people who just stay in their little one-horse town and never leave or venture out. So.
Right. I mean, you just think, and like they came from nothing. And, you know, the thing I love about Loretta and I love about Dolly as well is that, you know, they literally came from nothing but the love of their family. Like they had, like Loretta talked so highly about her mom and her dad, and how even though they were poor, they had it all, you know, because their parents just instilled in them, like, you know, values and working hard and, you know, just being good people. And I just think that just because where you're born doesn't mean that you're not a classy person, or just because you're not born with money. I mean, more people that are born with money sometimes
they're just unchanged by their money. And I don't understand why all of these celebrities go freaking nuts over their fame and money. And people like them who you would expect, like, oh, you have nothing, it's going to go straight to your head. They're just completely the same person.
Exactly. I mean, and the fact that there was a guy that was talking about like a museum that he was working on at Hurricane Mills with, like, you know, a lot of her clothes and stuff. And he's like, going through this, I couldn't believe, she's like, with the underwear. He's like, I can't believe she still has that. And she's like, well, I mean, I never had anything. So we never threw anything away, you know? And, you know, she's like, honestly, I wore that underwear for 4 months. And that's like while she's singing at the Grand Ole Opry. Like, so I just love her. Like, I really respect her. I love her. I think that she is amazing. I love that she sees spirits, and I love that people in the afterlife feel as connected as we do with her on this side. I think that's really cool. I just think she's lovely and amazing. And I was so honored to do the story about her. Like, I learned a lot about her. And I really like her music too. I've downloaded some. So, you know, and I'm running, I'm like, yeah, Mama's on that pill. Like, take that.
Wearing these panties for 4 months.
That's right. Yeah. But just like, that's who she is. And like, yeah, like you said, like she's just unchanged from, I mean, you would think someone with the number of awards and the gazillion dollars she probably has could really be an asshole if they wanted to be.
Oh yeah.
And she and her children, even talking to them, they're just completely just like normal. Like I just happen to sing for a living kind of people, it's like, it's crazy. I love that.
Awesome.
Love
Yeah,
it.
it's a good story.
So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope that you learned something that you may not have known about Loretta, and I thought it was a great story. I definitely am adding this to my list of haunted places I want to check out.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's like, Mr. Anderson, please don't push me down the stairs. I'm clumsy enough. Like I'll end up falling down them.
Don't touch any of the records.
Yeah, I would never. Or he's not taking a selfie where it says like, don't take pictures. I'm gonna go like
if you do fall down, we all know it wasn't paranormal.
Yeah, that's true. Like if something paranormal ever does happen to me and I do fall down the stairs or something like that, that's not going to be evidence enough.
So you have to be very specific. Like show us a sign of your presence without making Sarah fall. It has to be something
catch
else.
Sarah, actually, if you can do that. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Good stuff.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging in for the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely hope you got to see the lunar eclipse. If you missed it by the time this airs, you could probably still replay the streaming of it. So check that out. Remember, take a break from manifesting. Let the universe do its thing during this time. And just really think about what really makes you happy. And, maybe put the materialistic stuff on the back burner and let it all come together for you.
That's right. Good advice. And you want to tell them where they can find us if you want more?
Yeah, if you want more or to follow us, connect, tell us that you like the show.
Tell us what you want to be called as listeners.
Yeah, check us out at stormywillow.com. We also are now, as of 2 days ago, yesterday, I don't know, on TikTok. With our first TikTok video. It'll probably mainly be bloopers.
We do that best.
Yeah, so you can follow us on TikTok, check out our videos, but yeah, everything is on stormywillow.com with all the ways to connect. So talk to us, tell us what's up.
Yes,
tell us about your experiences.
Yes, and as we always say, stay curious, friends,
and stay safe.
Yes. Bye, you guys.
Bye.